is sponsored by Surfshark. What's up you guys, it's Katie, welcome back to Steal the Spotlight. Today I am finally filming the highly requested anime inspired lookbook. Inspired being the key word there, because this isn't some really close recreation cosplay kind of situation. It is more so just how you can take inspiration from some of your favorite characters and then apply it to a more casual, everyday, wearable sort of look. That way locals aren't like, is she off to a costume party? Heads up, I pretty much have the anime taste of a 13-year-old boy, so you've been warned, but I will say I was quite pleased to see that a lot of you guys were requesting the same sort of shows that I watch, so hopefully you aren't too disappointed. Okay, to start us off, we're gonna go with the nostalgic route, because I feel like even if you aren't currently an anime fan, chances are you did watch some form of it when you were a kid, but my personal favorite was always Sailor Moon. I had a lot of requests to take inspo from not the Sailor Scout uniforms, but rather their off-duty style, because let me tell you, do they serve some looks. For my outfit, I had to turn to my homegirl, Sailor Mars, and I feel like this is one of her most iconic looks that frequently pops up. It is a pair of pink overalls teamed with a white top underneath, and I believe she has white slides with her little blue minty colored socks, but I switched mine out for a pair of sneakers just to make it more wearable for me. I feel like anime hairstyles is really what completes all of their looks, but I mean, we're just working with what I got today. So I did decide to add on just a couple of extra accessories to spice it up a little bit. I think this is a really good example of taking inspo, but most people being none the wiser, because unless you see the side-by-side image, you're not instantly gonna think Sailor Mars at all. Let me know what current animes you guys would consider to be the most popular at the moment, or like the most talked about, I suppose, because the ones I feel like I see the most hype about would be My Hero, of course.
Todoroki. You feel sad for him because of his tragic past. And you have a crush on Zuko.
Black Clover, which I'm actually really enjoying now. Lastly, Demon Slayer, which is actually the one I ended up choosing my inspo from with Shinobu Kocho. This one was a no-brainer for me because I think she is sick. Plus, butterflies are so on trend at the moment that I knew it would actually be pretty easy to recreate a more modern, wearable look. Obviously, this show is set in a time where there's more traditional wear on display, so I wanted to be able to do more of a street style interpretation. So to do so, I just kept an all black base, having my pants kind of baggy and trying to keep those white accents to it as well with the belt and also the contrast stitch on the shirt. I didn't feel it would be appropriate to feature a kimono for this look, and I also didn't want a very literal take on like butterfly wings, but I found this shirt which I thought was perfect. It is just a white oversized button up with a butterfly print all over it in the same sort of color scheme as hers. And the only thing that I really wish I could change about the look is the hair accessory. I wish that I had a bigger butterfly to feature in my ponytail, but I just had to make it work with what I had. Like I was talking about before, a lot of us do watch as kids, and then sometimes we kind of fall out of love with it, grow out of it, whatever. And then for some of us, we get dragged back in. And for me, what did it was actually my boyfriend watching Fairy Tail. So Fairy Tail will always have a special place in my heart. And a lot of you guys were requesting me to do one of the characters, particularly quite a lot of comments for Erza. Obviously, she gives us a lot of transformations, but I would argue not many of them are too wearable for just like your everyday cash family dinner, if you will. But I did decide on this particular one, which I cannot actually remember the name of right now, but you guys will know the one I mean. It's usually when she's like been fighting for a while, she's just about had it, she's about to pull out some bullshit line about how friendship will help her win, and she has those sick red flame pants on with just the tape covering her chest, which, by the way, shout out to any weebs who came here hoping for like a cosplay of big titty Erza, because not gonna get it here. I am pretty much too flat-chested to even play Wendy at this point. Instead of the strategically placed tape, I decided to opt for a white boob tube instead, and then just team it up with my favorite pair of wide-legged red trousers. Obviously, hers have the iconic flames on the bottom, and if you are looking to recreate it yourself, then I would recommend actually painting on the flames for a more polished, finished look, but since I did pay $100 for these trousers and I still wear them all the time, I wasn't about to commit to having flames permanently on them, so I had to go for just like this temporary makeshift situation. And then to finish things off, I had to make an executive call on the shoes because she doesn't actually wear any with this look, but for those of you who don't want to go bare feet, I figured that a white boot worked quite well.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
So yeah, like I mentioned, today's video is sponsored by Surfshark, an award-winning VPN, aka Virtual Private Network. Straight up, my favorite and most used benefit since getting Surfshark is being able to access overseas Netflix libraries, which offer vastly different catalogs depending on your country. So this pretty much just means we can binge a whole lot more anime. For example, if I switch my location settings to the US, then I instantly have access to so many more shows that I don't usually have available to me, including Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, and so many more. Or I know a lot of you guys are already US based, so if you want to switch it around, change your location settings to my hometown, then you'll be able to watch my favorite animated film of all time, Your Name. And since I know a lot of you love K-dramas as well, I thought I'd give a heads up that Australia actually offers Harang, Hotel de Luna, and Weightlifting Fairy Kimbokju, which I noticed aren't currently available on the US library. But a VPN isn't just convenient when I'm binge watching at home, it also gives me peace of mind when I am using public Wi-Fi, especially when I'm traveling overseas, because they do ensure your privacy and safety online by protecting all your personal information. Surfshark is actually the only VPN to offer unlimited devices under just one account. You can use my code for an exclusive Cyber Monday deal of 83% off plus 3 extra months for free. And since Surfshark has a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk in trying it for yourself via the link down below in the description box. Okay, to be honest, I'm not actually sure if anyone requested this look, but giving it to you anyway. And it is Akame from Akame ga Kill. As you may know, this show kind of has a bad rap, I suppose, which I understand, but man, it breaks my heart because I enjoyed the first half of this show so much. I thought it had such great potential, but putting the shitty ending behind us, I still think that these characters rock some killer looks. I actually have quite a few that I would love to recreate, but I thought that Akame was closest to my own personal style and something that I could whip up from my own wardrobe. Obviously, pleated schoolgirl skirts are an absolute staple in all anime, and Akame has kind of that sort of look going on, but it's a little bit tougher and rough around the edges, which is why I actually opted for my half skirt shorts look instead. Although it's not the same as hers, I feel like it kind of embodies her persona a little bit better. I teamed it with this black top, which had the perfect white contrasting collar. And then of course, the main emphasis is her red accent pieces. So I love this belted bum bag because I feel like it's kind of a modern take on the one that she wears in the show. And then the other things, a little bit more on the gimmicky side because, again, trying to make it work on a budget, I just used this thick red ribbon to tie my tie, and then also this like wristband situation because I didn't have red gloves. Obviously, the inclusion of those does take it to a more costumey realm, so I would just tear those off and layer on some silver chains, and then I am good to go. Would happily wear this out in a heartbeat. Probably gonna babble on just a little bit now because we're talking about one of my faves, which is Naruto. And I don't know, maybe I'm just a nosy person, but I love knowing who people's favorite characters are in any series. So do let me know down below in the comments, but especially if you are a fan of Naruto, then hit me up because it's one of those shows that just has such a wide range of characters. I really feel like there's something for everyone, and knowing someone's favorite almost kind of tells you a little bit about the person. I have quite a number, but if I had to narrow it down, it would be Itachi, Kakashi, and most definitely Shikamaru. I feel like he is the MVP of the show. So that is who I decided to take my inspo from. Of course, you're gonna need some form of green shinobi vest, and then the black trousers. Obviously, a lot of them also have like the bandages wrapped around. So I thought a more wearable option for that is actually going for this pair that has the cool cutout detail on the thigh. I decided to take inspo from his younger days where he wore the fishnet, and I feel like that just brings a new texture and element element to the look. And I had to slick my hair back in a high ponytail. Not gonna lie, next up is a series I haven't actually watched yet, but there were a ton of requests for it, and I figured it was like the perfect missing link of this video because we are yet to cover more of like that traditional cutesy school uniform look. So I am taking my inspo from card captor Sakura. For me, this kind of has more of a nautical sort of vibe to it. Obviously, it has like the traditional sailor collar thingy-majiggy. I believe theirs is more of a shirt teamed with a jacket over the top, but we are just rolling it all into one with this sweater that I got from mixxmix. I think it still gives off a similar overall vibe, and then we have the re-emergence of that damn red ribbon from earlier. I tied that around the neck and then slipped into a white tennis skirt. Like I said, since I haven't actually seen this one, I wasn't too sure of what exactly was the look. Some pictures were just a plain white skirt and others had the black trim along the bottom. I decided to opt for that one because I did feel as though it added a little bit more interest to the outfit. Next up, we're gonna switch from that cutesy vibe to more of a goth GF with Misa Amane from Death Note. We do see her in a few different looks, but I feel like the one I see cosplayed the most is this particular one. So I wanted to do my own recreation and take on that. The final look actually ended up being a little bit further outside my comfort zone than I thought it would. But if you did want to kind of pare it back a little bit, just take one element, team it with some basics you already have in your wardrobe, then maybe you'll feel a little bit more comfortable in it. But with that being said, if this is spot on your style and you're ready to jump into it, then I would totally recommend checking out the doll Mercy on Dolls Kill, because when I was scrolling through her page, which is actually where I purchased the skirt from, everything was just screaming this aesthetic to me. A series I knew I had to take inspo from was JoJo's. They serve so many iconic looks, but obviously they are a little bit more dramatic, playful and costumey. So I did find it really hard to kind of scale it back and make it more wearable. I would definitely say that this is the least accurate of the bunch. It's definitely a very subtle approach, but I figured I would still throw it in there. I was debating on who to take my inspo from for the longest time, but I decided to go for Giorno Giovanna. I feel like I need to warn you before we cross to the outfit because y'all are in for a good laugh. I tried to recreate a similar sort of hairstyle to his and it was just... But for the outfit, I was taking inspo from his kind of pinkish purplish suit with the love heart cutout, which obviously is just about impossible to find unless you actually want to order a costume cosplay item of his. So I decided to go for this metallic two-piece set. I felt like this was the same sort of like showy showboat sort of vibe that he would go for, and then the shirt I wore underneath actually had the similar love heart cutout in the shirt, which was a nod to that as well. Since his ensemble does feature some jewels, I decided to reinterpret that into the belt I chose, which is very bedazzled. Honestly, the overall look is kind of giving me like a really bad version of Dolly Parton. Let me know if you guys do want to see a part 2, and if so, which characters you'd be interested in. For me, there is still so many JoJo looks I want to explore, especially Rohan. I absolutely love his color combination, so hit me up in the comments. And also, before I go, don't forget about today's awesome sponsor, Surfshark. All the links are down below in the description box, as well as all the links to the outfits I wear today. Hopefully I see you guys next time. Maybe even come join me over on my Instagram at StillTheSpotlight. Mwah.